Hey everybody, welcome to Salty Saturday. Excited to have another couple matches for you this evening. I am Donde, excited to be here as always with my co-caster and co-host of the THL Power Podcast, Icicles. How's it going tonight, man?
Good evening. It's going great. I'm happy to be here. I'd be a little happier if I could have made this first match, a little more meaningful by winning my match earlier. However, I did not. So we're just playing for points now.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah, it's so early in the season that right now wins and losses obviously matter, but the individual point totals of every game are still so important even at this stage of the season. So a loss doesn't mean as much as just making sure you get as many points as possible. So I'm sure BrushyTuna of your team, the Unknown, will be trying to do that tonight against Dmoney of HypeHorizen. As you alluded to, HypeHorizen has won this week. I believe it's 12-2 off the top of my head. So it will be all for points for this evening. However, we have a second match coming up a little bit later, which will be a legacy match that is in the Silver Conference between Plantz and ezbake. So that will be coming up later, both conquest matches tonight. But for now, we can talk a little bit about this first one here. So Dmoney and BrushyTuna making their season debut in Pro, both yet to play a match. And both bring in some interesting lists. So I'm going to go ahead and get those up on the screen here. We will talk about those real quick while we hopefully get these bands in. So we do not know what the bands are yet to this point.
Yep, still waiting on one band. But yeah, some interesting choices here. I don't think there is a single deck in common. The only class in common that we have is the Shaman, Dmoney bringing the Evolved Shaman, and BrushyTuna going with a Control Shaman instead. So we will see a lot of different lineups, different matchups tonight than we might otherwise be used to.
Yeah, we've seen Brushy do the Control Shaman thing before on stream, no less hitting me in the face with it because I tried to go Control Shaman v Control Shaman against him. It did not work. But that was last meta. This one, it has a slightly different look to it. If you're going through the list here, you'll see things like Doomhammer, you got Inara Storm Crash. So there is a little bit more punch to the deck as far as being able to do a little more proactive damage rather than just waiting for your opponent to run out of stuff. So it is a little bit different than we've seen, but he's also got the Galakron Control Warlock, which has become more popular than the basic Control Warlock has been. A deck I do like myself, so I'm interested to see how this one plays out.
Should be a good one. Looks like we have the band submitted, but not yet reflected on the site. I'm looking for our handy little spreadsheet link for immediate updates, but I did not see it.
Yeah, Hat did not reinstitute that because with multiple conferences, it gets a little bit messier. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so he said he could do it if it became a problem, and of course it's now match time and a little bit of a problem, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, they updated on my screen, so that's good.
Perfect. All right.
Go ahead and get those up here. It is a Rogue ban for BrushyTuna and a Shaman ban from Dmoney. So no Rogue for HypeHorizen's Dmoney, no Shaman. So we're not going to see that Control Shaman we just talked about here.
Yeah, Dmoney giving a little respect to Shaman still being a good class even when it's not evolving everything on the board. Yeah, pretty interesting choice there. So, sort of an off-meta deck, I guess. Looking at Brushy's lineup, most of what he's got, other than I guess maybe the Control Warriors, is a little bit off-meta. But yeah, that Shaman being the band choice, definitely interesting from Dmoney's side.
Yeah, sometimes it just comes down to I don't want to play against that. I don't know exactly what the matchups are against it, and I just don't feel like figuring out how to take the best lines against it. So I completely understand that is a safety, like a security pick there from Dmoney, and not necessarily maybe a numbers pick. But we're going to see Paladin, Priest, Shaman for Dmoney versus Hunter, Warlock, Warrior, which is cool because, as you mentioned, that's 6 unique classes, so we will not see any class mirrors this entire time.
Yep, you'll love to see it. You'll love to see some diversity. And for most of the audience, no priest mirrors. So
might see priest versus warrior, though, so that's still on the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to let the players know to get going here. Dmoney will be on the bottom of your screen. BrushyTuna will be on the top when we get going live.
Brushy is wondering how you could know what the bans were.
How can I know? Because I refreshed the website.
Yeah.
It's TeamHearthLegends.com. He may not be familiar with it, but it's the central hub for all things THL.
He had less than kind words to say to you about that. To be fair, I am also refreshing and I do not see it. And my sometimes tricks of getting it faster have not been working for me. So
it does it weird. It sometimes some people can see it, some can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my usual trick is to switch browser windows and try something different altogether, and that works 80% of the time.
It's pretty good rate.
20%. So.
I mean, if you told me your deck was going to win 80% of the time, you'd bring that deck every week, right? That's a pretty good win rate.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't have a deck that wins 80% of the time, unfortunately. So we'll just have to keep working on that. All right, looks like they are getting ready. Who is on the bottom? Who's on the top? Maybe they've already said it.
Dmoney, I did say it, but Dmoney on the bottom. Yep, and BrushyTuna will be on the top.
Perfect. Yeah, one of these days I'll start listening to you as you're talking.
Yeah, it's not that important, really.
Seems like it might be helpful as we're casting this match. So any predictions on what we see out the gate from both these players?
It feels like the Evolved Shaman for Dmoney. It's kind of one of those decks that's good, it's either good against everything or it will high roll you into Oblivion, and that seems like a safe bet to be the early pick. I think Brushy might counter it with either the Warrior or the Warlock first, a little bit more control-y.
Makes sense. Yeah, I think the Warlock probably has a good matchup with everything here across the board. Ticketus can just make life miserable for slower decks like Priest, and the double sticky fingers, he's got definitely looking to target that Evolved Shaman with those. So yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. For Dmoney, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Evolved Shaman lead, but it does look like, especially with Brushy leading it up, that he has a target on the back of that Thrall pick. So we'll see if Dmoney plays into it and just tries to get that one right away, or if he looks to avoid it by picking one of his other two decks that might not be quite as hard targeted.
Well, they are getting started, and it is going to be Paladin versus Hunter, so a little bit different than what we expected. And for Dmoney, looks like a little bit of a slow start for the Paladin. He's got Murgur, McGurgle, and Hand of Adal, but it's going to be tough to keep pace with this aggressive Hunter start for BrushyTuna.
Yeah, you always like to see all the minions you possibly can in the first couple turns. Especially with Dmoney's list is not what you typically see with the Pure or Broom. This is a Highlander Paladin, so it does have that potential for a little bit of a slower start, just not hitting as much of the early game as you need, especially against a very quick face hunter deck.
And now Dmoney kind of weighing the options here. It's either Hand of Adal plus either Blazing Battle Mage, or he Goody 2 shields, but the pack tactics there, bad news as Brushy will get a 3-3 instead of this 3-2.
Yeah, I mean, with the close list, knowing exactly what those secrets were is a pretty good chance that he was going to give Brushy additional minions, either through pack tactics or snake trap. So deciding that it was worth it to just go ahead and get that out of the way. But Brushy maintains pretty strong control of this board.
Here we'll see the Battle Mage come down with the Hand of Adal with the draw of a Bone Wraith. That's actually a pretty darn good card in this matchup. I would imagine we'll probably see that come down this next turn and hope that one half of it lives so he can Blessing of Authority.
Yeah, I think at this point, it looks like Dmoney has probably staved off the initial aggression reasonably well. He has some of the tools he would want in this matchup. If he can clear this board, and that Consecration could go a long way towards doing that, but he might opt to just go with the Amber Watcher to heal first, trade off the 4/4. That might give him just enough breathing room to have time to play the Bone Wraith and the Consecration later, sort of take control of this game.
Yeah, it's always about looking for that maximum value with your board clears, especially against a deck like this that Brushy's playing, where it can just have that refill over and over again sometimes. That tracking in hand for Brushy can help him get there, but right now the hand is looking somewhat bare. Dmoney, though, he's got to get there to the, maybe the 2 or 3 more turns. Like you said, the Amber Watcher will come down here to hopefully help him get there.
Toxic Reinforcements is a pretty good pickup in this situation for Brushy. It's about the point of the game where you're going to be hero powering every turn anyway, and so having that to load up is pretty nice. And picking the kill command, the extra burst over the top, is definitely the correct choice at this point. You don't expect Paladin to go too wide. It's more likely he's going to go tall with Big Taunt or Blessing of Authority. So definitely like to pick a Kill Command in this situation. So Dmoney answers with the taunt of his own, and as much as I just said, he's probably not going wide. It looks like he has the option to, at least with the Wolpertinger and Salty Deckhand. Now, he doesn't know what Brushy burned off the tracking, so he might have in the back of his mind that Unleash is a pretty strong play, especially with 2 of them in the deck for Brushy. So he might opt not to play additional minions to play into that, despite the fact that we saw that one was burned. There is another, so...
Yeah, it's definitely delicate balance, and I think the reinforce here using the hero power is kind of striking that balance and saying, I'm going to get some more stuff on board, but I'm not going to overcommit into your possible Unleash the Hounds. So I like that play, and now Dmoney still has 2 secretive minions in his hand that Brushy doesn't quite know what they are, but that South Sea Deckhand could come in handy if we do see a weapon for Dmoney.
Right. He is running a couple in the deck, the Hammer of the Naru, the True Silver Champion, and the Underlight Angling Rod. So he does have the options, as well as a Tyrion. If it gets to that point and Tyrion happens to die, then although I think if we see Tyrion hit the board, it's more likely that game's already over at that point.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So now Brushy has an interesting choice here. The mana doesn't quite line up for him to play the Eagle Horn and the base offer and hero power. And if he plays the base offer and hero powers, then he's going to float at least 1 mana. So it's kind of awkward. And he might ultimately choose to keep that 1 drop in his hand to fuel the kill command at some point. So some tough choices here. He probably will play the base offer. He's hovering over it, wanting to get that secret out of the deck. Hero powering the 2/5 with the 2/4 ability as well, just to try to push that through. Yeah, I think it makes sense to hit the taunt and get that down. He may opt to not attack. Let's see what his secret is. He did pull the snake trap.
And we are getting a hot off the press 10-minute ago update from Ron Mexico saying that it is now 12-6 in this match instead of 12-2. So Unknown getting 4 big points here. So I mean, this is the potential to make this like a 12-10 game, which is you see 12-2 and you think that's very unreasonable, and 12-10 is extremely close. So the end result could be a pretty decent match here for the Unknown.
That makes me feel even worse for losing my match earlier today, because this could have been for all the marbles. But what are you going to do? So, big swing turn here for Dmoney, getting the Consecration
Fantastic
on a full board of stuff. So, starting to look like Dmoney has hit that stabilization point. We'll see what Brushy has up his sleeve, if he's able to find the other Unleash or some other means of getting through. Not the best draw here with the tour guide.
Trying to think if he was going to utilize the hero power first, but no, he's going to use the hero power with the free benefit of the tour guide, use the Eagle Horn bow.
Yeah, I think at this point it's largely inconsequential. I think he's going to have mana to hero power basically no matter what.
Right.
Nothing in his deck costs more than 3 except for the Dragonbane, so he should be able to disregard the benefit of the tour guide.
Odds pretty strong here that Avenging Wrath will clear the board, and if not, there's plenty of 1/1s that can do the job. Nope, he's going to hold back, use the 1/1s instead, and just go ahead and make a big Bone Wraith. I like that. The Acidic Swamp Ooze will get rid of that weapon. Not that Brushy would have ever wanted to swing into the 10-9 with it, but this could just be over here at this point.
Yeah, he needs the other kill command. Basically, his only out, or a very lucky Dragonbane. But yeah, basically 1 draw. There's a Dragonbane.
There's a Dragonbane. Oh no.
I don't think it's going to be enough though.
No, he doesn't have enough mana. No, he doesn't have enough mana for it. He got me excited.
It is the only thing he can do, but yep. So that will almost do it. No, I think we're there. Yep, 17 on the board going the other way. So Dmoney takes game 1. And this is probably the matchup that Brushy was the least in favor of, pulling off the top by killing Hunter first, and most likely expecting between the Warrior and the Hunter that the Paladin was going to get through at some point, so probably doesn't break his heart too much to see that happen. I'll be interested to see if he can whip the Hunter again. I don't know how it matches up against the Priest these days, the Highlander Priest. Potentially could go similar to that last matchup where you look like you got something on the board and then all of a sudden it turns around with a Pyro Apotheosis or Zephyrs or some other Priest shenanigan. So it'll be interesting to see if Brushy switches it up to take the Warlock now. I think that would be his other choice at this point, or if he sticks with the Hunter. And for Dmoney, I do expect the Priest to come out here, not the Shaman. But
yeah, I mean, as we said, the Shaman is one of those decks that it's okay pretty much at least against everything. So if you feel like you can get a matchup that you want, you might not play it here. But I gotta say, looks like we're gonna see Shaman, and we're gonna see that Control Warlock as you predicted.
Okay. Starts with the weapon in hand, which is great for him. See, Brushy will full mull this. He basically is hard mulling for the Sticky Fingers. He keeps a Dark Sky. It's interesting. Okay.
And Dmoney with the Bog Spine Knuckles, Lightning Bloom, and Dread Corsair.
There's an explosive starting hand.
And why not grab another weapon?
Yeah. So we could see him hold on to this hero power because next turn you very well could just coin Lightning Bloom, Knuckles, Corsair, and just have fun. So
yeah. Well, one player will be having fun. I tell you, it probably won't be BrushyTuna.
Yeah, so this choice for Brushy to keep the Dark Skies may end up saving him. He did draw the second one, so we'll see. But the speed at which Dmoney is going to be able to play and break this box bind means the Sticky Fingers was going to be irrelevant for this first weapon anyway. So let's see what Dmoney opts to do, if he wants to go for it now or if he wants to save it one more turn to be able to save the coin to play the Desert Hare on the follow-up. Because he could opt to just play the cage match now, guarantee that he draws the other box spine, get it out of the way.
Right.
And then kind of preserve the information that you had of box spine at the beginning. Although, to be fair, Brushy was watching that he kept a card in his hand. It's very likely that that was going to be the case.
Right. It's either a bog spine or a cage match most of the time. And yeah, bog spine it is. And that's the play here. We're going to see Dmoney just throw it all out there. And yeah, he knows he doesn't have a turn next turn, but I don't think that really matters to him. And this will definitely allow him to get the Bog Spine Knuckles into the death pool. But wow, what a big minion to get off of that roll.
Brushy, no choice really but the Dark Skies, but he's going to just take another huge chunk of damage, and this game could very quickly be over.
Oh my goodness, another 7-5. This is just disastrous for Brushy. Does he have an option here? He's got...
He could take the 50-50 on Cascading to kill the 7-5 and give himself a chance to live.
Pretty much it.
The Dark Skies does 7 damage, so you're 1 off from being able to clear the board. And is more likely to kill a 3-3, which he does kill a 3-3. So this will probably be a... So he's going to draw with a Novice first before Cage Match. I guess he's looking for... So, I mean, this is totally fine. Almost nothing that can save Brushy at this point, actually. There is nothing that can save him at this point. Dark Skies and then Hero Power to end the game. And Dmoney takes a quick 2-0 lead.
That was a 2.5-minute game for those scoring at home. That was just blistering.
Yeah. And it's what happens sometimes. It's the danger of trying to target the Evolved Shaman, because sometimes they just hit the nuts and there's literally nothing you can do.
And the nuts that was, because you know, when you've got your power turn on turn 2, that's that's like Edwin level with the rogue. But yeah, Brushy gonna have some work to do here now, as he's gonna come back from a 2-0 deficit. Yeah,
and he's gonna have a tough time. I expect him to queue the Warlock first. I think it has the best chance of beating a Priest, a fast Ticketus, and then a Yashiraj giving another Ticketus can kind of lock the Priest out of the game. So we'll see how that goes. I imagine the Hunter would be next, because the Warriors has an abysmal matchup against Priest. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But it is a Warlock versus the Priest. And he gets that Sticky Fingers. It wouldn't have helped him last game, but nice to see it make an appearance at least.
Just it's good, because you want to make sure that you did put it in your deck after all.
Yeah. So a quick note, Dmoney keeping Lazul in his hand. I wonder if he's going to wait and see if he can grab a corrupted Ticketus from it.
I think that's a good plan.
Yeah, wait until Brushy plays something that costs more than 6 mana and try to snipe the Ticketus to have some chance at stick in this game. And we'll see how that goes. So the other option is the Mindrender, the Lucia. If you can time that correctly and snipe the Ticketus, it does burn cards from your deck, so it's not the best unless you can steal it before it gets corrupted.
Right.
But it does at least deny the Yasharaj pull, so you don't have to deal with 5. But no, he opts to just
gonna
rip Lazul right away. Yeah.
Not a whole lot of great options here. Probably the Iron Beak Owl is really it, because I mean, Militia is just a 5/5, unless you steal other cards that can generate the Soul Fragments. Pact is probably never going to hit a target, so Owl, I think, is probably it.
Yeah, Owl at least gives you some versatility, so yeah, he does make that choice. He's probably going through his options thinking how likely it was for him to steal Demons or Soul Fragments, or in the case of Spear Jailer, both. But I think Owl just makes the most sense, because you are very likely to be able to get some value out of it at some point. So opts to just play the Renew out, get a new spell. He'll probably follow us up with a palm reading to discount whatever spell that he picks. Thought Steal makes a lot of sense. So I'll go ahead and Thought Steal first to get some more spells. And look, it's Soul Fragments, so Militia would have been online.
Potentially would have been worthwhile, yes.
So Brushy's still waiting for Ticketus to make an appearance. For now, just invoke the Galakrond, maybe play a Sacrificial Pact. Not really in any rush to do so, saying at 25 life, so and not needing to burn cards from his hand just quite yet.
Yeah, I think if it was a point where he needed to have the hand space, he might have just done it there. But going wider for Plague of Flames, not that there's probably really anything that's going to be necessary to plague this turn, or even in the next turn or two, it's still, I think, the right play to hold on to that Sac Pact.
Yeah, it's probably Shadow Menace. Oh, he actually takes the one I was going to say was the least likely to be picked, the Auspicious Spirits, but Dmoney taking the line that he needs as many threats as he can, knowing that he has the potential of having a lot of his deck burned out at some point in the game. So it does kind of make sense to get something that just is one more annoyance for Brushy to deal with.
He does have Zephrys in hand, which is nice. It's one of your more powerful cards in this deck, being Highlander Priest, of course. So it's you're looking to hopefully not burn like Galakrond at this point. Sethek Veilweaver, another very powerful card, especially with that Soul Shear in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might just opt to playing Zephrys now, looking for swipe, I would imagine.
I think if you that plus now it'll eventually die and be back in the raised dead pool.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the nice thing about the Highlander Priest is you can line it up. Now it's not guaranteed because he has played a few other minions, Madame Azul. He thought Brightwing as well.
Yes, Brightwing.
Come down.
Yeah.
So no guarantee, but still a pretty good shot at bouncing back a Zephrys, which is always nice and really a good reason to play the Highlander version of the Control Priest.
And now getting Sethek Veilweaver out there too, because then that'll go into the pool and give you the possibility of getting 2 of the most powerful minions in your deck back.
Another Auspicious Spirits.
Gonna Apotheosis as well onto the Sethek, keep it alive a little bit longer. Go ahead and raise dead right now. And he hits the Zephrys and Madame Lazul.
So interesting, because of the Soul Fragments, that Zephrys won't be online for at least a while until he draws one of those Soul Fragments.
Yeah, this is a game that's probably going to go quite a ways anyway, so I don't think he's concerned with that being a problem, as it will be in play eventually here.
Brushy's still looking for Ticketus. He still has time to find it. Priest has 22 cards left in his deck and isn't going to draw them very quickly, but you just feel better having it. Less likely that the Priest is going to Thought Steal it or disrupt you in some other way. So,
especially with the Yasharaj in hand too, because you can just go ahead and rip it a second time whenever once you get to 10 mana, of course.
Right. Yeah, and you're at the point now where I think Dmoney would potentially have to read that until he sees a 7-mana card that he's not in danger of being Ticketus yet. So I wonder, again, we talked about this at the beginning of holding Lazul, but it doesn't look like that's on his mind. He just wants to play it and get immediate value from it. Cascading Disaster, fully corrupted, is an excellent choice. being able
For
to
sure.
potentially just clear out after a Galakron or some other way, like Brushy developing a board.
Not the best 7 drop, though.
It's not, and it probably
Unbelievable.
won't live, but if it does, the combination
Well,
with that, with the Pyro, would be pretty nasty, so.
let's say if he really wanted to, he could have used the broom to go ahead and bump into the
Mhm.
2-1.
Right.
But
Yeah, certainly an option. It does still present somewhat of a threat for Brushy to have to burn something on. Don't think he's going to want to play the Cascading Disaster on this board. Plague of Flames is an option. Yeah, especially with the Spirit Jailer. I wouldn't be surprised to see that be the choice here.
and here comes that Plague of Flames, as you mentioned. Did pick up second Cascading Disaster as well, but that one is still only on 1 minion at this point. Nothing else to do but pass at this point. Soul Mirror the draw for Dmoney.
Yeah, so just playing out Ironbeak Owl for no other reason than just to get it out of the hand. Also to clear up space, because he's probably going to want to Dust Steal here shortly. Playing Hogger corrupts his other Auspicious Spirits, so that's online. Brushy just really hoping for Ticketus as soon as possible, just to try to close out this game as soon as possible.
But not Cascading there for the first time, gets that board cleared on Dmoney's side, but not as powerful as you would want to use that Cascading Disaster on. But that Hogger can get out of control,
right.
Especially since there's not really any other way after you use that Plague of Flames to get rid of it.
Yeah, because he wants to hold on to the Twisting Nether.
Right.
As another potential activator for the Ticketus. Also for a potentially more threatening board, the Cascading just kind of lined up.
Oh, speaking of Ticketus.
Yeah, so this is an interesting choice now for Dmoney if he wants to.
Spirits, yeah.
Well, that's one. I was going to say, like, Soulmere seems really bad on a board of a 1-3, but it would have activated the Ticketus, and he could have immediately burned and potentially knocked off.
Oh, no. Not what you want.
Not the best. So yeah, so I mean, Dmoney obviously has no way of knowing whether or not the Ticketus is still in Brushy's deck, but that could end up being a priority for him, especially coming down after this Sociologist.
Well, I mean, he does know that Ticketus was in Brushy's deck at that point, because that's where Thought Steal draws from. Yeah, but I mean, now this draw plus the next draw here, it could, well, after the Soul Fragments, we'll see, it could end up in hand. It does not. But now this is a great Soul Mirror board, so don't even feel bad at all using this to go ahead and pump your Ticketus up.
Yep. Yeah, so maybe looking to see if there's anything else that makes sense, but I think at this point Soul Mirror is the perfect card in the situation.
Right.
It's the easiest answer for Melissa.
Yeah, if you'd rather use Plague, that's fine. I guess it seems like a waste with nothing to silence, but yeah, I'd Soul Mirror all day there. And the Soul Fragments keep coming. Brushy's down to 1. Brushy's down to none.
He's down to 10 cards in his deck.
He's going to be down to 5 very shortly.
Yeah. Oh, no way of knowing. Yeah, I think this makes sense to go ahead and just draw through as fast as you can. You're really needing a couple of things. You want the Galakron, you want the Ticketus.
He gets
and you're not getting either. A couple of extra Soul Fragments could buffer that a little bit, but let's see what the damage is.
We're about to find out. Yeah, I think Dmoney's probably okay with this board here to Ticketus.
Because he can also play the Cascading Disaster behind it as well. Or the Holy Nova, but I think the Disaster makes sense because it's going to hit one of the big minions. So.
And Shield the Galakron. Ticketus! Oh no!
I think that might just close out this game for Dmoney.
Galakron's still available, but yeah.
Big pickup. Yeah. At this point, the Priestess is in pure control mode. You're fatiguing the Warlock out. You know exactly what's in his deck. You know what threats you've burned. You know what threats are left. So very difficult for the Warlock to amass enough of a presence here to overcome the Priest. And he'll play it out because he obviously would. But really, really tough situation for Brushy at this point. The big board, one that is immediately cleared out by the Holy Nova. Insight first, see what we pick up. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Mind Flayer come down on the 4-5 also. Dragon Queen will help close this game out as well. I think we're just sort of playing out the string at this point.
Absolutely,
on that first series.
I mean, Brushy will fight the good fight, and he does pick up Galakron there.
Yeah, so something. I mean, the priest doesn't have 5 cards left in his hand, so maybe there's a chance you can get all the way through before they're able to clear board another time or recover enough. You have the Yasharaj for a big swing if they're able to amass any board of their own. So Dmoney drawing Murazond. You wouldn't get the
probably a little overkill.
Yeah, I think you'd rather have your heal than 2 1/1s. You don't get the weapon either, so probably not the time to play Murazond. Dragon Queen not active, as we mentioned with Zephyrus. The Soul Fragments, 2 Soul Fragments still in his deck. This is a decent option to Plague of Death. You know this is the big board that Brushy's going to be able to develop. See if he makes that choice, but looks like he's going to try to hold on to it just a little bit longer. My dog had an extra scratch. Took a while, but it's done.
I was wondering what the sound was, but it looked like you had it covered.
So he does go ahead and murders on here. Interesting. I guess he just wants the 8/8 more so than anything else, and maybe he thinks that the healing is not as needed, and just using imps to answer imps is going to be useful. So this does give Brushy the option to Kronks and buff this board up just to push a little extra damage. Actually, going to be a lot of extra damage. Not quite enough, but not insignificant. We'll see if he chooses to do it now or if he wants to save it for a potential lethal opportunity. So let's go with the Cultist to try to buff that up a little bit more. Wait, don't swing. There you go. Forgetting that Battle Fiend still works even if you're not a Demon Hunter.
Do you consider this play to be a little bit greedy, or like, are you thinking if you're BrushyTuna, this is the only real line I have to potentially win the game?
I think it makes sense. Save Kronks for the lethals because you're only going to get 1 shot at it, and you're going to be able to keep generating minions, so basically save it until you have something that sticks. Then again, playing it now for the 8/8, that you've seen a lot of the removal, see what how he's able to answer this. Because really, this is it. The last threat you have is the Yasharaj. So.
And interestingly, there really wasn't a whole lot available in hand here for Dmoney to answer. Zephyrus and DQA are not online.
Right.
You can use the Dragon Queen plus the Broomstick if you really want to get rid of the 8/8, but that's not fantastic. So this might actually be
close.
Be close enough. BrushyTuna might be able to get there.
Yeah. What you might opt to do here is play the Dragon Queen unactivated, as well as a hero power, and then Broom, and then clear out everything but the Kronks, and then just hope you're able to find something that gets you through the next turn.
I mean, there is Cabal Acolyte in hand for a taunt.
Right. Yeah. So you have the taunt. Taunt. You can't necessarily rely on the taunt because you know Yasharaj is there that will pull a Caspian Disaster. So opts to go with the Forbidden Murders to take out the 8/8, but can really just hang on to that Dragon Queen as much as possible. So Brushy, sensing a little bit of weakness, goes ahead and pulls the trigger on Yasharaj.
Yeah, that's all about the 10/10 body, not about the cards going back to hand.
Sticky Fingers, so that's not going to do it.
Not it.
And that's going to wrap this up. So we were talking so much about, oh, no Ticketus, oh, Dmoney burned him, oh, it's looking so bad, and Brushy's like, you guys suck. So congrats on Brushy finding a way to pull it out against the Priest. I really wish I had kind of called that Priest running out of resources a little sooner, because that ended up being what happened. So well played by Brushy to get one on the board.
Yeah,
to game 4.
Like you said, we were so focused on Ticketus, the fact that you got Galakron survived through the Ticketus was the important factor there, because that was the card that allowed him to just get enough juice to win the game. Yeah,
so holding on to the Kronks, I think, ended up obviously being correct, but for a different reason. Just to be able to put a threat on the board that the Highlander Priest wasn't able to answer ultimately. So we'll play by Brushy. And I would expect, again, the Hunter to be the choice here. It's going to be a tough road either way, but the Hunter at least has a chance of just blowing out the Priest quickly. We'll see how it plays out.
You are correct. We're going to see Hunter v Priest here. And hopefully for Brushy, he does have that kind of blowout hand that just allows you to roll over any class regardless of what their game plan is. Dmoney, though, has got that Sethic Veil Weaver in hand with Penance, so there are a little bit of survivability for him there in the early game.
Yeah, the Broom is a nice pickup as well because it just gives him a way to answer a board you might not always have. So not exactly what you would have liked to have started from Brushy's perspective. Hero powering on turn 2 never feels good as the Hunter, especially if you're not killing a minion. So we'll just see how this plays out. Picking up a taunt off Draconic Studies immediately.
The Skeletal Dragon, yeah. And Brushy does pick up a playable minion here in the Volpertinger. Going to go ahead and Hero Power as well.
Button, but man, this is not what you want to be doing against a Priest in the early turns. Hero Powering twice is just not going to get it done in the long run.
Dmoney picks up 2 1-cost spells, and with that Wild Power in hand too, that could do a lot of work.
Yeah. Now we'll see how greedy the Dmoney wants to be, trying to wait for, because he's playing Highlander, he might not wait for the Apotheosis. He might just opt to go ahead and play the Pyro and get some of this damage out of the way right away. Potentially this plus a Penance on the 1-3, or he might opt to Mind Vision and heal. Picks up a Dragon Bane, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, still in decent shape here, 20 health with 2 minions on board to BrushyTuna's non-existent board. 5 mana. What does he do now? He knows that there's a Dragon Bane in hand. He's going to tracking first.
I mean, there could be a lot of things from the Mind Vision. It's from Dmoney's perspective, knowing that
Right.
Brushy has the... Right. I was thinking Brushy has no way of knowing that there's a Dragon Bane in Dmoney's hand.
Yes, that is not something that Brushy can bank on, though it is a possibility. And, there was, of course, Coin and Kill Command still in hand, too. So there were a couple,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I was about to say, like, playing
yeah.
the Dragon Bane here makes sense because you're going to be wanting to heal every turn anyway, and this just gives Brushy one more thing to deal with, especially if it
more board control,
minions, which you love to see. So I think Brushy really needs a whole lot of things, but he's going to Kill Command the Dragon Bane. Okay, so he is giving respect to that potential constant board clear, and hoping to string the Acorn Bow.
Yeah, I think that's the right play, but Brushy running out of time. That Skeletal Dragon comes down about as quick as it possibly can, and is just going to sit in the way and generates a taunt. Why not? Also, Apotheosis now in hand for Dmoney too. Dragon Bane is the play, and we'll see where the shot goes. Hits the dragon.
It's okay, but what he wanted. Yeah, I think this is just about going to lock this one up.
Yeah, take another Dragon Bane.
Dragon Bane, playing Apotheosis on the taunt. Brushy has no way of getting through it, much less the heal on it, so yeah, this is a rough spot for Brushy and the Hunter.
And a Rotten Strake to hand for Dmoney. Well, actually, it is active. The Circus Amalgam counts as a dragon.
So we'll be able to minimize the healing on the Skeletal Dragon, but a whole lot of stuff in the way still.
Yeah, this is just bad all over here for Brushy.
So Zephyr's active. Depending on if the hero power hits face, this could just be lethal. We'll see how Dmoney wants to play it. But he's going to guarantee that the hero power hits face. And Zephyrus will provide that last little bit of damage and wrap this series up for Dmoney.
Another quick game, 4.5 minutes.
Yep, that's how it goes sometimes. Relatively quick series.
Yeah, all things told, yeah, about 40 minutes for 4 games is definitely a faster pace, especially with when you consider a downtime between matches or between games and whatnot. But a quick win there for Dmoney. 3-1. Brushy did manage to get that one win on the board, but not enough. So that's going to be a win for HypeHorizen this week, 16-7. Strong start for HypeHorizen. They're going to move to 2-0 here in the early goings of the pro season.
Not too bad. They are the champion for a reason, so congrats to them, and good luck the rest of the way.
All right, well, we are a little bit ahead of pace. I'm going to let the next players know that they are, good to go. This is going to be a legacy match, so we're going to not have the advantage of knowing what decks everyone is playing. We will see the classes, of course. I'm going to go ahead and get our screen switched over here. But Icicles, while we're waiting, would you like to tell the people why they should subscribe to our Twitch channel?
Absolutely. So subscribing to the Twitch channel once upon a time was only for the benefit of THL and ensuring that we are able to continue running such a fine organization. But now, Donde, you have delivered channel points. And
sure
subscribing has allowed you to earn those THL points even faster and use them on so many things. What's in the box? Game 5, Let's Go Team, and if you tune in on Monday to Hello Dog, hey, can you stop real quick? I'm doing an advertisement. Thank you. So we need to get some channel points for Make Icicles Dog Stop Scratching Yourself. But if you turn in Monday to Around the Saloon, you can actually vote on the contestants getting or losing points. So there is no shortage of ways to use these channel points, and you get them even faster when you subscribe. So please hit that button. If you already are subscribed, consider the holiday season and gifting a sub to one of our illustrious spectators, because all of us can use it. And it's just a great thing to do.
I agree with all those points, especially the part about Icicles' dog scratching.
She is embarrassed. She is under my desk now, so hopefully that will be the end of that. But she's looking at me very forlornly.
Yeah, we didn't want to embarrass the puppy.
Listen, she knew what she's doing. She does it when I'm recording the podcast as well.
Well, of course. There's a lot of stuff to click here. All right, let's go ahead and get this swapped over.
So as you're bringing that up, we shift over to Legacy, or Legacy Silver Conference between the Mean Dream Team and Illidan's Death Knights. Not too many results yet in the book so far. It's just one. It's me, Mike P, taking a 3-1 victory over Wi-Fi in the 4 seed. This will be a matchup between the 1 seeds, ezbake winning week 1, Plantz losing week 1. They're coming in once again with very different lineups. ezbake bringing the Demon Hunter, Rogue, Shaman Warrior, and Plantz bringing Mage, Paladin, Rogue, and Warrior. So they do bring the Rogue and Warrior in common. Plantz opting not to bring Shaman, opting to bring Mage. So that'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how that plays out. I would not expect ezbake to ban Mage, so we'll see if we get to see it on stream.
Yeah, I like the thought. I mean, I've started to see Highlander Mage creep back into ladder a little bit more. There is a possibility that it's the secret, more tempo aggressive Mage, which I find to be an interesting deck, because a lot of people don't have experience playing against it right now. They don't know how to navigate the secrets. It can, rather than just being a straight up powerful deck, it can really just disrupt your opponent enough to be sneaky. So I like that as a possibility here for Plantz.
Yeah, definitely a couple options. You could also just go with just the shenanigans of a deck of Lunacy Spell Mage and just take it where it leads you, and who knows what's going to happen. I would
like
expect
shenanigans on stream.
Absolutely, yeah. I would expect ezbake to ban the Rogue here. It seems like those are the 2 most common bans between Rogue and Shaman. So when you have an opponent that is not bringing one, it makes sense to ban the other. From Plantz's side, my guess is he's going to ban Shaman and just kind of stick to what seems to be the consensus on what is the best class right now. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned, this is somewhat still early on in the series as opposed to what we saw with the HypeHorizen versus Unknown match just a few moments prior. Illidan's Death Knight's only up 4-1 at the moment, just on the back of its Me Mike V defeating Wayfair in the 4 seed. So Mike V moves to 1-1 on the season. Wayfair is now 0-2. But the rest of Meme Dream Team all won their week 1 matches. Ezbake, Clone, Interval, and Well Played are all 1-0. So Meme Dream Team still has to feel good. They're in first place in the Silver Conference right now. Not right now because of other matches having more points. But if you only take into account the week 1 results, they were the best. And Illidan's Death Knights with 12 points were in the middle of the pack, which is fine for week 1.
Yeah, 12 points and a loss is nothing to sneeze at. Obviously, you want to win, but if you're not able to win every week, then putting up double digits definitely feels good. So, looking to build on that momentum, or at least build some momentum, at least with the early victory. Their teammate Ismi might be, and we'll see how Plantz does on stream once he's online. I think that's who we're waiting on.
They're both online. I messaged them both. Let's see if they are now in the ban phase. Let's scroll down and hope our friends list cooperates.
Yeah, show Plantz is away and not in game. But if you're seeing something different, let me know.
He was briefly green on my screen when I messaged him, but Ezbake is online and ready to go. So we are still kind of just delaying a little bit here, but we can take a look around the rest of the Legacy matches if you'd like to do that while we're waiting here. Since we don't really have anything to analyze per se, because there's no deck lists or anything, it's hard for us to really talk specifics until we see what the ban is. But just running down Silver, Hearthstone Academy's up 9-4 on Dad Legend right now. Based in Ghost with sweeps over Honest Abe and Yellow Dart. Big matches there, both 2-0. With your Mumked also moving to 2-0 over Boozosaurus for Dad Legend. So that one's still up for grabs, but HSA looking pretty strong there. Hot Zilf's 13-9 over a Noyo team, so a guaranteed with four matches played, guaranteed to at least have a tie for Hot Zilf's, but 1 point left to get for a win, with Jim Phillips versus Totino's Pizza being the remaining match in that series. Flame Pimps 15-13, moving to 2-0 over Amberflight Gaming, who will drop to 0-2, but still picking up 24 points over the first 2 weeks of the season here in the Silver Conference. So very, very close in Silver so far to open the season.
And jumping over to the Red Conference, not what we're spectating tonight, but a couple matches already decided. We have Preppers for Rogues, not Pilots, bouncing back from their week 1 loss to take right now a 14-6 lead. So it guarantees the week for them with 1 match left over Swallows that follows. Dirty Mike and the boys edges out Chaos Theory 15-13. That came down to the last match, which involved me losing to Tony Montana. So congrats to him clutching out a big 3-1 victory to give Dirty Mike and the boys the win. And then Team Tries blowing out Sir Finley Squires 18-5, making an early case along with Dirty Mike and the boys as being the class of the Red Conference. Sir Finley Squires had beaten Predators for Rogue, not Pilots week 1 and seemed to be a team to be taken very seriously. And Team Tries is like, absolutely, we'll take you seriously by dominating you. And then the match that we have is Murgle Reborn beating Ticketus Punchers 15-10. A couple teams that had a slow start week 1, so nice to see Murgle Reborn bounce back with the win. Ticketus Punchers going to look to get on the board next week, but not looking so great in the early going with Chaos Theory as the 0-2 teams in red so far.
And then we take a look at Gold, as we are a 3-conference series this season here in Legacy. We had a matchup between the two 19-point teams from Week 1, F2L, Red versus Defies Brotherhood. F2L is a winner in that one, 12-6, with 1 match still to play. Myanodon and Wild 9, the remaining match, 2 players who won their Week 1 matches. Marty B and Rebobson winning for F2L Red to move to 2-0. Interestingly enough, nobody on Defies Brotherhood has... other than Wild 9, who's only played 1 game. No one's undefeated, no one's winless. Everyone's 1-1 there. So they are just keeping it steady, and hopefully they can pick up a few more points to stay near the top of the standings. But Foolish Madmen beating Stubbs of Prey 16-7 right now. They are currently, won every match with only 1
looking
left.
Looking to go to a sweep with Diamond as a last remaining teammate.
Yeah, Diamond versus Kurafinwe 86. This has been a point of contention for me. I do not know if it's pronounced Molestar or Molestar, but they won against Gambler in the 1 seed.
Given the capitalization, I'm going to go ahead and say Molestar.
Yeah, I think that's the likely outcome of it, but my brain just doesn't want to do that. Golden Common, by the way, 14-11 over the Pod People. So Pod People dropping to 0-2, not a position they tend to be in early in the season here. Arhat and Wicked Good getting wins for the Pod People, but Agent PW, Pasca, and Snake Fods all winning for Golden Common, with Agent and Snake being 2-0 to open the season. Should be a good boost in the standings there for Golden Common. And ATL over Standard THL Generates. 10-4 right now, so it's not over. There's 2 matches to play, but it looks good for ATL to at least get a good chunk of points and keep them in the hunt for the Gold Conference.
Excellent rundown, Donde. I think everyone knows what's going on in Legacy now.
They do, and I have not heard from either player yet, so we're still in delay mode right now. But
yeah, it looks like they are crafting their decks, making sure everything is set up, getting their bands ready. It's always nice to take that last look at your deck list, make sure you've got everything you want, make sure you're not hiding any wild decks or incomplete decks that could cause you to be DQ'd. Or at least not DQ'd, but lose the deck, the option to play the deck, which might as well. You can get some points, but best to be avoided if at all possible. So
I don't know about you, but I am somewhat obsessive where I will check my decks 3, 4, 5 times before.
I do the same thing. Yeah.
Regardless of whether it's open deck list or closed deck list, if you tell me you're ready to go, I have to go back and check my decks. Like, that's the last thing I will do before I accept the battle.
Yeah, it's a good practice to be in, because you never know when it's going to go wrong. So always nice to have that peace of mind. And,
absolutely.
Yeah. So
a good PSA for all of the new players out there for THL.
Yeah, give a benefit of the doubt to these 2 players that that's what they're doing right now. So.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can get some bans here. What do you think we might see banned for these 2 players?
So I think looking at what they brought for Plantz, I think he bans Shaman. I think it's just kind of the standard ban. I don't see anything in the lineup that tells me he would be trying to target Shaman. We have seen that can backfire tremendously, as we just witnessed when it has an explosive start. So for the most part, I think if you're not obviously targeting Shaman, I think most likely you're banning Shaman. So I would expect Easybake's Shaman to be banned. And for Ezbake, because Plantz did not bring Shaman, I think that Rogue generally is the next target. His lineup looks like, there's a chance he might ban Warrior instead. I think Warrior's maybe the 3rd most common ban behind the Shaman and Rogue. Given that he's got a Demon Hunter in his lineup, it might make the Rogue a little bit more of a tempting target to leave up and ban the Warrior. So to wait and see. But I think it's going to be one of those 2, the Rogue or Warrior for Ezbake, and almost certainly Shaman for Plantz.
And I think Warrior tends to be a more popular ban in the closed deck list format just because there are so many different variants. Never sure whether it's going to be Bomb or Control Warrior, or will it have the Silas OTK in there? Will it have the ETC in there? So that seems to be a safer bet in closed lists where you're just like, I don't want to deal with the guessing. Let's get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Certainly makes sense. Looking at some of the teammates, so the first match in the series, both players banned Shaman, as would be expected. So, and then in just overall in the Silver Conference, at least, out of the matches that have been played, 14 players have banned Shaman, and a total of 12 other bans across the other 9 classes. So Shaman, very clearly the persona non grata of THL right now.
Yeah, people hate to be eye rolled, that's for sure.
Yep. So what else do we have here? How else can we stall Donde?
Well, I am talking to Plantz actively right now. He said he is ready to go, just waiting for the friend request to go through. So luckily they are on it, and we should be getting bans shortly. Ezbake told me he is checking his list right now as well, so yes, we understand that as well. Plantz did tell me what he's banning. I doubt it will be 10 minutes from now, but we'll wait and reveal the bans at the same time, just for fairness sake, and just in case something happens to go wrong and the players can't get going. We don't want to leak any information that could be detrimental to one side.
So as I was going through the reasons to subscribe, BrushyTuna has entered the chat to inform everyone they can also use their channel points to gamble. Usually when BrushyTuna is the one opting, because he's the one that sets up those high stakes point games. But I don't know, Donde, you got any gambling in you? Ready to go for this next match, or are you gonna leave that to the professionals like Brushy, professional degenerates?
I think I'll leave that to Brushy, just because I don't know how to do it in the channel yet. So I'm just gonna go ahead and be honest. But yeah, no, it's definitely a fun feature.
We'll work on that for you next time, Brushy, or else we'll get you in here to do some training on Donde and others.
He'll have to. Are you playing against Brushy this week in Around the Saloon?
I believe so. I believe one of the regularly scheduled guests was unable to attend. So I think that I am going to be filling in and joining, if I recall correctly, it's going to be returning champion Steffi, as well as BrushyTuna and Markshire and myself.
That should be a fun one. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to voting against Brushy at every turn. Using those channel points that I've accumulated.
It's unfortunate you can only vote for a person once or vote against a person once. Although that's probably for the best because, let's just leave it at that. It's probably for the best.
I think after we get through these first few weeks, it will start to slow down because people will have used a bunch of their channel points. Not everyone has 100k like Brushy. Some will have a much more modest amount and be unable to just drop 20k in a single stream. So it's,
how many channel points do you have, Donde?
So I have like 25,000 right now, and I used about 15,000 last Monday.
Yeah. Okay.
How many do you have?
I have 136,000.
Guys.
So I've been begging for a use for them, and now I have them, and now I'm being stingy with them. But it's nice to have options. So.
All right. Well, we do have the bands completely in now, so we will go ahead and reveal that. But it's going to be a shaman band as expected for Plantz and a warrior band for ezbake.
All right, makes sense.
Now,
and who do we have on the top and who will be on the bottom for this?
ezbake will be on the bottom, Plantz will be on the top. So what do you think we'll be seeing for a leadoff here for each of them?
It's a great question. Given that he banned the warrior, ezbake will probably be pretty comfortable leading rogue, figuring it matches up well against paladin, especially if he's bringing secret rogue, which usually lines up well against the other rogues, and mage, complete wild card, but secret rogue usually does pretty well there. For Plantz, I think with the rogue being left up, most likely that's going to be his lead, although if he thinks he has something pretty spicy with the mage, might not be surprised to see that pop in first. I think that would try to dodge the demon hunter if possible, but so I would probably, if I'm picking, say ezbake leads rogue and Plantz leads mage.
Alright, well, we're about to see. I let them know that they're all set to go, and they said they are, so we should be able to see that get going here in the next few seconds. Thanks for everybody for sticking with us here. And hopefully, we entertained you long enough in this downtime here to get you to match 2, which will undoubtedly be more exciting than watching us talk about future THL events.
Hopefully we entertained you at all. According to Brushy, we're pretty boring, so apologize for that. I would shout out, no, we'll go ahead and get this started.
No, go ahead and shout it out. I'm still waiting for it to load.
I was going to say, Brushy should tune in to the THL Pal podcast from last week for a special shout out just for him.
You asked for it.
I mean, everyone should tune into it. I don't know why you wouldn't be tuning into it every week.
Absolutely. Hey, look, I actually predicted one right. We've got ezbake on the rogue and Plantz on the mage. And looking at what Plantz has, is that a Gyreworm, whatever that is? The little elemental thing that benefits from other elementals?
Oh, the sugar?
No, the Gyreworm.
Okay.
The 3 mana, 3/2 deals 3 damage, play an elemental last turn. Yeah, so we could be seeing a little elemental mage. This would be interesting. See how this works out. I see a ring toss. I wonder if this is, there's a lot of elementals. My goodness, that's a advancing avalanche. not a card you see too often, as well as a Arcane Amplifier. So animated avalanche, excuse me. But yeah, a whole lot of elementals coming down from Plantz' side. I wonder if this is Highlander.
Yeah, if it's a Highlander with an elemental focus, I haven't seen that, but it should be interesting to see.
Yeah. And for ezbake, it does look like a pretty straightforward Secret Rogue with a pretty straightforward start. No Edwin in hand to begin with, so Plantz might have time to get online some of these things. But with Zephyrus in hand, Zephyrus also being an elemental, that does look like it's a Highlander mage, so will be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, always forget about the elemental affinity of Zephyrus just because it doesn't end up coming into play very often. But here, yeah, it might be very important. But we're going to see the removal of Solarian right away. ezbake will go ahead and play a secret, which we know is Ambush. And Plantz picks up that Elemental Allies. Does he want to play that this turn? I would imagine this is probably just going to be an Arcane Intellect turn.
It depends. If he... I don't know if Zephyrus will give Wild Growth on turn 3 to go into turn 4. More likely it's going to give some 4-mana plays, which I don't think are that great as a standalone. So, and if he plays the Elemental Allies, yeah, he'd just be pinging. So I think you're right. I think Arcane Intellect makes sense here. Depends if he wants to play into Dirty Tricks or Ambush more. If he's more worried about Dirty Tricks, then maybe he just waits. But I think he can't get away from playing a spell. So ultimately, you probably prefer to proc an Ambush when you have a way of dealing with it with, say, a Brain Freeze. So
it ends up working out as the secret was Ambush, and he does not give an Arcane Intellect via Plagiarize. He doesn't give a two-card draw via the Dirty Tricks. But ezbake will go ahead and make a bunch of cards himself, picks up a couple lackeys. I'm very familiar with Witchy Lackey myself, but Kobold Lackey, that's a new one.
So the Kobold Lackey does 2 damage to anything.
Oh, wow, that's pretty useful. I'd like to see
quite a versatile, valuable Lackey to pick up, especially for a Rogue who usually likes to see that Lackey as part of a burn plan in conjunction with Shadow Steps and other things that do damage. So,
what are we going to do in 4 months when we can't make the Lackey jokes all the time?
I think we still will. We'll find a way.
Okay. Good. I'm glad that will live on.
Yeah. So it looks like his Plantz hovering over the Zephyrus here. He might be.
I think
it makes
was,
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe use the Brain Freeze first.
Just to guarantee that he gets something for next turn. But next turn, he's really looking like he wants the Arcane Amplifier. So I wouldn't mind seeing Zephyrus come down first just to give... I don't know what it's going to look at. Probably a Flame Imp, maybe a Forked Lightning. Okay. So that would kind of sort of deal with this a little bit, but also make him unable to play the Arcane Amplifier plus...
Yeah, backstab is probably better.
Yeah, I think backstab makes sense. He's going to get the news that this is an ambush, so this works out great. He's able to Brain Freeze the 2-3 and backstab the 3-2. So this has worked out really well.
Yep. Great ordering there. He knew exactly what the secret was as he had tested the Dirty Tricks and the Plagiarize the turn prior. So, yep, very well played there by Plantz.
To be fair, there was a chance it could have been Shadow Clone. We don't ever see Shadow Clone, but we don't know for sure. So
I have a feeling that if ezbake was running Shadow Clone, he would be waiting until turn 10 to try and see if he can get a 10-cost minion to get that achievement that I don't think anyone will ever complete.
No. Pretty good pickup off the Witchy Lackey, getting a taunt 2/6 that can have a greater attack. But we do see the Arcane Amplifier to draw 3 more spells, the Elemental Allies. It's pretty good sequence here.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to Fire Blast down the 3/2. So Plantz is holding in pretty well. I think this is probably what you want to do as the mage. Just sort of, take care of the rogue's threats one by one. Give yourself time to build up to dealing with a big Edwin or a big questing later in the game. And just kind of wear them down, because they're not going to have an answer for your big elemental turns between the Animated Avalanche and Grand Finale. So definitely, this looks like a pretty good spot for Plantz right now, and I'm pretty impressed with how this deck is working out so far.
Yeah, he's avoided the early game blowout from a crazy Edwin, and now, like you said, what he has to worry about is another Edwin or like a questing getting out of control, which he does have tools to deal with at this point. Yeah, it might get through once, it might hit face once, but ultimately you should still be able to handle it over the course of a turn or two. And yeah, Plantz looks like he's in pretty good shape right now.
Yeah, he's dealing with a pretty good Shadow, Secret Passage turn from ezbake. Being able to get through most of the cards in his hand, picking up a Fireball and a couple extra Lackeys. This might be Vaporize. Interesting. A secret just to give him some synergy. He had a couple Blackjack Stunners in hand with no secret to activate them, so this makes sense. being able to deal with some of the pressure that Plantz might be looking to deal out. But this, unfortunately, is a little bit of an awkward turn for Plantz, given that he would like to roll into an animate avalanche next turn, then Grand Finale the turn after. He does not have an elemental right now. He could potentially fish for one off his Arcane Breath, maybe giving the spell damage minion discovery. But Cram Session is pretty good. Fire Creation is pretty good. Devolving Missiles is pretty good. These are all pretty good options. I think Cram Session might be the least likely here, just because he's not likely to have a source of spell damage. Power Creation is just a powerful play, given that he's not going to be able to line up his elementals the way he'd like. So I think this makes sense.
Well, my thought on Cram Session was if you are trying to dig for an elemental, so it's a bit more of a Hail Mary play, but it's really not necessary in the situation where Plantz is doing well on board. He hasn't taken a whole lot of damage yet. I think that's the right move to take the more surefire route. Like you said, Power Creation is going to be a guaranteed turn 8 play that he'll have.
So ezbake does pick up a questing. He could play it now, bump it up to a 4/4, but more likely he just hangs on to it with a lot of cheap cards in hand to go along with it. And Plagiarize is an option here. Pretty much at this point, you're likely to get maybe one big thing from it if you play it now. Or maybe a board removal that's not going to be super useful, so opts to go with the dagger instead and just hang on to it. And this looks like from Plantz a pretty nice setup for a rolling fireball, maybe following up with the Mana Cyclone. He doesn't have really any cheap spells to pair with it, so it might just be enough to play that now and set up a 2 8/8 summons off Grand Finale next turn. Give himself one extra spell. We'll see what he opts to do.
Ward Clear comes down, as he said, Mana Cyclone.
It's the Primordial Studies. I cannot remember the name of that stupid card, even though I've played it maybe 1,000 times. But yeah, that could also discover him an elemental. ezbake gets his second questing.
Yeah, drops that questing immediately, and it's not big yet, but as always, has to be dealt with somewhat efficiently, or it can get crazy.
Yes, this is a tough choice for Plantz because he clearly set up the 8-mana Grand Finale, but the problem with that is you leave an uncontested questing. You're playing in Secret Rogue, so it's likely they have at least one stunner, if not potentially two, that you would be basically just throwing away your turn in some sense. So this questing is only a 3/3. You don't have a way of killing it actually in your hand, and not likely to be able to find one. Most Power Creation gives you something good. So we'll have to see how it goes, what he decides to do, if he just keeps to his original plan at the Grand Finale, or looks to try to deal with this questing through the Power Creation. Hopefully our stream is okay. We have a network error, and that might just be me. So I'm going to hit refresh and hope everything's fine.
Everything seems fine on my end here.
Yeah. Forget I said anything. Plantz going with the Grand Finale. And it's going to get the bad news that ezbake has the easiest answer. And buffing up a second questing.
Oh yeah. Maximum value on those questings and getting rid of the 8/8s, and this is where Rogue might start to really do that damage to Plantz. And everything kind of built up to this moment for Plantz, and it just got handled so efficiently by ezbake.
Yeah, and this game was looking great for the mage, really up until that point, and then he just didn't have the answer that he would have liked and stuck to the elemental plan. Definitely in a world of hurt, a turn off from being able to play Reno if he had it in hand. Can't get anything off of Dragon Queen that you could use. Ring Toss is unlikely to be able to save you here. Looking probably for a Frost Nova. That's not it.
Solarian would have been the probably the optimal draw right there, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think that wraps up this game.
And you were correct. There it goes. ezbake goes up 1-0 on the.
How quickly that turned.
Yeah, that is the Rogue special right there. Minions that grow, minions that then crush you immediately the turn after if you can't handle them. And we saw not only that, that it was so well controlled by Plantz the whole game, and then all of a sudden just got out of control. He had 8 cards in hand and just didn't have a single answer to 2 minions, and that's super unfortunate. But
I think in that case, as you know that you're going to be dealing with a pretty big question if you don't answer it. And I think as much as you like the idea of playing 2 8/8s on the board against a secret rogue that hasn't played a stunner yet, there's almost no way that those don't get answered. And I think Power Creation might have given him a possibility for delaying the game a little bit, and that might have been enough to just give him another opportunity to get to some of those higher power turns.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it did not work out that way. And I think, in the grand scheme of things, it was likely that ezbake was going to get that rogue through against Mage Paladin and Rogue. So can't feel too bad about that. But Plantz queuing that Mage up once again, and ezbake going with the Warrior.
Yeah, as we go into game 2 here, we see a Corsair Cache and upgrade in hand for ezbake. Corsair Cache.
Oh, like a Bomb Warrior.
Yeah, sounds like a Bomb Warrior, and Corsair Cache makes Warrior go. Well, Wrench Caliber in hand's not what you want to see if you have the Corsair Cache, but that is not a bad draw either. Eventually, that Horde Pillager will do some work, and we know it is a Highlander Mage. Bomb Warrior is going to disrupt what the Highlander Mage would like to do.
Quite unfortunate for Plantz to see this particular Warrior. That doesn't mean he doesn't have answers to it. Elemental Mage might have a little bit of a time getting on the board. He has a Water Elemental in hand that could help disrupt the swings from the Bomb Warrior. So depending on what other tools the Bomb Warrior is running, that Water Elemental could be quite disruptive. So we'll have to wait and see. Berev is definitely one of them that can answer that Water Elemental cleanly. So you feel like you need to. Especially if Plantz opts to coin it out here. So I think it's a little bit ambitious, but it might be worthwhile. Granted, you do run into things like the bear out of the Blade Storm, so I'm just throwing a Water Elemental out now without knowing what kind of warrior you're up against, because just about every warrior runs Ankar and does not give much information away, so it'll be a tough position here. Ezbake makes sense. He does have a couple other dragons in his deck that we saw, not one in hand, so Malygos is a reasonable option. Crimson Hot is pretty good as well. A taunt up, and Dragon Moss guy stuff are always rough for Warrior to deal with because of the death rattle, but looks for the most value he can find with the Malygos. I kind of like that option.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable choice, especially if Calicos comes into hand. As long as he's got other options to play going into this next turn, which we do see with Water Elemental, Firebrand, plus Spell, that's fine. I think you're fine to go ahead and take the Malygos there. And now Plantz is also getting bad news that this is a Bomb Warrior, as he sees the bomb enter his deck and realizes that if I have any Highlander cards, I might want to play them on the Sooner side because I will never really get a chance to play them again.
Yeah, I think, from the one hand, that is a really early skipper for ezbake, so that kind of makes you feel better about your long-term prospects. You did also see ezbake play a Corsair Cache and then an Anchor off of it, so even though you've seen a Clockwork Goblin, you don't know that there's a weapon coming down behind it, so you might not quite be in a rush to deal with it. So interesting he chooses to go with the Combustion and a Elemental over the Firebrand, which would have also cleared that board pretty nicely, but I guess he wanted to save the coin for potential better value play down the line.
Someone's got to lead the charge.
And so from
down here, Horde Pillager.
Another Horde Pillager. Now the one thing that does kind of make this a little bit awkward is we just saw an Ankar destroy, so that Horde Pillager is by no means guaranteed to hit the Wrench Caliber. A lot of warriors have cut Ankar, Bomb Warriors, excuse me, because of that. So one bomb
draws
gone.
the bomb right away.
So we're still in Highlander mode.
Keeps the Highlander active. And also, the draw of the Dragon Queen makes Malygos active, so paying off there. If Plantz would like to play it on curve, he can do that and get the activation of the Battlecry.
I think it's absolutely worth it, especially if you're able to potentially draw the Frostbolt or some other value generator,
right,
which is what he's most likely looking for here.
Gets Nova, Tome, and Missiles.
Yeah, Tome makes a lot of sense for the value. Missiles make sense if you're just trying to burn them out quickly, which you might be able to do, and you might actually need to do. So I kind of like that pick there, just to add to the potential pressure that you can put down on the Bomb Warrior, because Bomb Warrior just isn't going to put up as much of a defense as some of the other warriors that we've seen. So it makes sense to take that line.
We're going to see an upgrade possibly come down here. It will.
This could be upgrade in Brawl. I mean, this isn't a hugely threatening board, but yeah, I guess Brawl might be a little bit premature at
Yeah, I
this
think hero
point.
power here is fine, honestly. I don't think it's worth utilizing one of your board clears, especially with
Right.
already using a skipper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that would almost force you to have the drop skipper as your last option. So yeah, 3 power on the board, not that threatening. Hero power makes a lot more sense. And for Plantz, he really needs to start pushing up the pressure himself because Mage isn't going to have too much healing. Ring Toss can generate Ice Barrier, which isn't bad. We'll need to craft it first, so Steward Scrolls is a reasonable choice here. Dropping down a Tiamat could be interesting as well, just giving it Divine Shield and Wind Fury potentially. Let's see what he opts to do, but a couple of decent options here to try to put out some pressure.
Yeah, if he does do Tiamat and then uses the 2/8 to hit the 1/2 instead of using Tiamat, with the Divine Shield, he can keep it alive through a risky skipper Barov, but he's going to opt to go ahead and use the Steward of Scrolls instead, and Cram Station, Fauna Power, and Tome of Intellect are the options here. A lot of card generation that he doesn't really need at this moment.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense to take Tome of Intellect. I probably would have taken the Fauna Power myself. Picking a minion versus getting a random spell kind of suits me better, but Tome of Intellect makes sense as well. It's just another way of potentially getting some burn that you might not otherwise have. So
that and the option of taking the card draw is probably bad with the bombs in the deck. I mean, yeah, you want to get rid of the bombs to go ahead and play your highlighter stuff, but not at the cost of your life. And wins the brawl here.
That's not really much of a win for for Plantz. But I guess you're talking from Easybake's perspective.
Oh, yes, no. Ezbake played the brawl, he won the brawl, and a bomb gets drawn. A second bomb gets drawn. Oh man.
So this is going to be a CMAT for taunt, I think. Divine Shield taunt. Is a rough sequence there for Plantz getting a couple bombs in a row.
Thank you.
But I think at this point you kind of have to, knowing that there's another weapon in the deck, potentially for Pillagers. Now you're really looking for Ice Barrier out of this Ring Toss. And gets it off the first go.
Yes, he does.
I think you have to take it. You know that we're doing a weapon swing. And this one's kind of tough. I don't mind Counterspell here, where he doesn't have the coin, and you can usually disrupt the premium removal. Getting that Water Elemental down as well makes a lot of sense. So it's going to be close, but that's about as good an outcome as you could have hoped for from Plantz's perspective.
Right, and we're definitely going to see the Horde Pillager, I would imagine. We're going to see the shield block first, gets rid of the counter spell.
So this is the moment of truth. Is it going to be Ankar or more bombs? We get the Ankar. And the bad news, this is an Ice Barrier.
So this does work out in Plantz' favor. And,
a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel for Plantz, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the other thing here, too, would be now you probably want a Horde Pillager before swinging the next turn, so that way you have a less of a chance. Because then we're upping to 2 Ankars in deck, or 2 Ankars in the Death Pool and 1 Wrench Caliber. So probably see the Horde Pillager come down next turn.
Yeah, but as long as this Water Elemental's alive, it's sort of a mid point. So
true.
See what Plantz decides to follow us up with. He definitely needs to kill this 4/2 one way or another. A couple options to do it. Could play the CMAT, rush into it. Could play the Firebrand with the Tome of Intellect. Probably want to keep the number of minions low. I wouldn't be surprised to see the... okay, so he's going to leave the 4/2 up and just rely on the CMAT taunt to keep him up and get the Fireball off Tome of Intellect. That is fantastic.
Whoops.
Interesting. I wonder if the whoops is for not killing the 4/2 or not attacking with the 1/2. Apparently, I think you missed that attack.
Yeah, I definitely missed the 1/2. 1 damage could make the difference here. It's going to be a tight one.
Must burn them all.
Yeah, so now Ezbake has a couple options. He could try to brawl this taunt away and the Water Elemental away. There's a 50-50 chance that he gets a pretty reasonable outcome. 25% chance that he wins the brawl outright and is super happy, but like he's going for a more guaranteed approach with the looks like it's going to be Barov and the skipper into Horde Pillager to keep as much of his board alive as he can. Although if he does it that way, no, I guess only the Plantz's board will die. Only one minion would be. Then use a swing with the 4/1 first before he does anything else to make sure that gets rid of this Divine Shield. I'm looking for the Orange Caliber, and he gets it. So.
Now, ping of the 3/1 can get rid of the 4/1 as well.
Yeah, this might be a Reno turn also, just to get sort of a maximum board presence. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe Reno and the Firebrand. He could all opt to maybe Reno and Battle Spellwing and ping, just to leave the pings in, because it really is going to be a kind of a race to the finish. So I think you want to kind of try to get as much presence as you can out there. I might even opt to play the Violet Spellwing first, just to ensure that it dies. So it gives him that little extra damage. So he is sitting on the Fireball, so he's got some burn from hand. Potentially could get him over the edge. Yeah, so opposite the first option I listed with as most power as possible. Pretty big pickup for ezbake there, getting some additional armor, being able to shield sends 2 minions away.
Yeah, you can get rid of both of them here, and the Witchy Lackey. Not a bad pickup here to make that 2/3 something better, which odds are as a 4-drop it will improve.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's going to leave Plantz with probably just the option of Reno, depending on what this 4-drop is.
And ezbake's going to hold back that Witchy Lackey. Oh, no, he's not. My client was a little bit slower. It only becomes a 3/3 though, so not ideal.
Yeah, I think this almost has to be Reno. Clears the board and gives you a little bit of armor, and potentially, a life-saving heal or something from the random spell generation. Got at least 2 bombs in the deck. I don't see exactly how many, but
it is 2. It is 2, and I think I think that's the right move here. Not only that, because you're looking at an opponent that has 1 card in hand right now, and this is probably going to be, less likely that they're going to be able to go ahead and flood the board from this point forward. But he does pick up that Clockwork Goblin, which is really bad news for Plantz.
So that kind of makes it a little bit more awkward to the Dragon Queen. Oh, never mind. He wasn't even going to Dragon Queen because of the bombs.
No.
So not a great option off that first spell. I mean, at what point do you just decide that Dragon Queen as an 8/8 is enough? You want to kill this 3/3 because right now it is a key breakpoint for you.
Right.
Getting 1 bomb killing you versus 2. So probably just put out just a couple extra minions and hope for the best. Let's see if he plays the 3/2 as well. I imagine he does, just to have it out there. No, I guess he saves it for the.
No, because I mean, if you play it as a 3/2 and it doesn't actually hit anything, then it's nothing.
Yeah.
You're guaranteeing next turn that's 3 damage.
Yeah, big draw with the Corsair Cash into
yeah.
the other Orange Caliber, which leaves Plantz 1 bomb draw away from dying with 5 in the deck. So about a
25% chance to draw the bomb.
Nourish.
Oh no! Oh no! It's drawing cards. Oh no!
Not what you want to see, but they're all active, so no bomb draw yet. My goodness.
And there's Malagos. Wow. Okay.
He dodges the bombs the first time around.
That was a horrifying 15 seconds there or so for Plantz.
Yeah. I guess Frostbolt. Big pick up here.
Definitely the pick. As you mentioned, the last time you played Malagos, and Gyre Worm comes down now, and honestly, with this could be 1 turn away from an actual lethal for
Yeah, doesn't get the burn that you're looking for.
But Deep Freeze continue to hold ezbake off. And he's probably
brawl
got a
here.
brawl, yeah.
Yeah. Really living on borrowed time now from Plantz's perspective. I guess the odds are still that you wouldn't draw the last bomb, but those odds are very quickly going to go against them. The highest attack power lives. Yeah. So that's something.
Subdue.
Oh no.
Not it.
And you definitely don't want to play L1
No, you do not. It's gonna be Deep Freeze.
Yeah, Deep Freeze for sure, and potentially the Arcane Missiles or Solarian behind, probably Solarian, just to put that on the board.
Yeah, yep, Solarian. I think it's, but you're right. Especially with no cards in hand, Brawl's both gone. Blastmaster Boom. Oh.
So Blastmaster Boom, if he, well, I mean, he does anything. Is that? Yeah, he has to. So depending on where these missiles go.
Or will there be a bomb? It's not a bomb. Plantz keeps
And
dodging him.
so he...
Looks like you've got your own tricks.
Does he have lethal? 10 damage plus fireball 16.
17.
17. Oh, yep, for the Solarian. Wow.
3 off. He would need all 3 missiles to get face here, which is not likely.
No, it is not
So,
likely. But what else can he do?
4 missiles. Also, 4 missiles is a little bit more likely. Man, he's dead on board if he doesn't. Maybe.
Yeah, one of these has to go face to freeze. That's no doubt.
Yeah.
Fireball to take out the 7/7, I guess, and start.
What he might,
the 1/1s and hope they bump into your minions
I
instead.
think so, because he has the option to play the Dragon Lane mechanic to put 2 extra minions out on the board. He can even play Avalanche and missiles. So
He doesn't care. He's going for it.
Okay, so he's looking for Frost Nova, I guess? Or
Must
Frost
be.
Bolt? No, he's... Okay, so he's gonna take a really...
He's just going for it. Four missiles. 2, 3, no. Okay. Oh,
1 bomb
3
his
to face.
face and
That's
that's
all
it.
that matters. Well,
Yeah.
yep.
Your tenacity is admirable.
And ezbake can go ahead and unfreeze himself.
Yeah, I hate that interaction so much.
Yeah, that's not one of my favorites. I always forget about that.
But, so ezbake with the Bomb Warrior does end up blowing up the Island Mage. The Elemental Mage, I guess, has a few more tools to get there, a couple freezes and other things, but in the end, it's still not our favorite matchup because those bombs are so disruptive and you don't have the healing to really stand up to it. So ezbake takes a 2-0 lead, beating this mage down, which is sad for me personally, but good for ezbake and Team Dream. Team of dreams that are memes.
Will we see Plantz run that mage back one more time?
Probably not. Going against the Demon Hunter, I think that's one of the worst matchups for mage, generally, historically. I think this is going to be the Paladin. I mean, if it's a OTK Demon Hunter, it's a little bit tough for the Paladin, but I think it's still his best chance. The Paladin should line up well against the other Demon Hunter archetypes, so I would expect this to be a Paladin. Oh, goes with the Rogue. Okay, fair enough.
You know, I believed you, and I put Paladin as the class.
No, he's got Rogue's favorite card, Edwin in hand. So, and it does look like it's going to be an OTK Demon Hunter for ezbake.
Yes, that double jump Og Merchant. That's those are both signs of an OTK.
It's a pretty good starting hand to go with that Edwin with the prep and the cat, like you mentioned. Just looking either for a Foxy Fraud or a Shadow Step, and could be in for a potentially quick game 3 here if ezbake is not able to find Consume Magic or other answer. Liberal's Pursuit does offer some options potentially to dealing with a medium-sized Edwin, depending on how big this can get on turn 3. See, this probably is most likely just a cat.
I think so. Yep. No,
Shot
shot
button.
Not
Good pickup.
Not a bad
Yeah.
pickup at all. And as we'll see here in this matchup, ezbake's side, it'll be going a little bit slow, a little bit control-y to begin with here, just to make sure that he doesn't get overwhelmed. And Plantz is going to try and make a big honkin' Edwin as fast as possible, since this deck doesn't really have a great way to deal with anything of that size.
Right.
At least
Just
not on the early turns.
Yeah, so the awkward thing for Plantz right now is he does have the Edwin, he has the coin, he has a couple preps, but he does not have any spells to go with those preps, and he doesn't have any Shadow Steps to go with those minions.
Does now.
Does have an Eviscerate. Is that enough? This would be, what, an 8/8 if he plays out coin prep for this. I guess he could also...
If he really wants to just
No.
throw this. I mean, do you just
So let's
coin
second
the...
prep.
Do you just coin out the Miscreant this turn?
This is pretty awkward. I really don't like anything. I kind of, as terrible as it sounds, I mean, either just playing the Miscreant by itself or daggering up. Because I think the next turn is when it gets a little more interesting. You can Whirl Kick, prep the Abyss, and maybe get another like Swindle or Abyss or something. Or, I mean, you have some different options you get off a Whirl Kick. Prep it out, and then get an even bigger Edwin. So I think patience might be in order here for Plantz. The question is, does he have that patience? And two, if he does, then what does he do in the meantime? Is it just playing a 1/4, or is it just daggering up? I kind of think daggering up is the right answer.
It's also tough to strike the balance too, because as I was saying, ezbake, this deck can take care of a large Edwin later. So if you're playing, so you don't want to wait too long and get to the point where it's easier for ezbake to get like a big blade dance and take care of the Edwin. But right now, you want to still be pushing damage whenever you can, but not at the expense of making your Edwin bigger.
I think turn 4 and 5 are kind of the sweet spot for ezbake off of this, because this is the turn where ezbake's going to want to, sorry for Plantz, because ezbake's going to want to either poke hell or skull or something in these next couple turns. So doesn't get a good pickup off of the first roll kick activation. And it's a medium-sized Edwin out of it. 10-10. Well, I guess, yeah.
Does 10-10 count as a medium-sized Edwin nowadays?
Considering where this could have gone.
No!
Wow.
The consume magic off the top.
That is brutal. That's just rude. That's when you know it's not your series.
That is just heartbreaking for Plantz.
Yeah. Hate to see it when you play. Yeah, when you're patient, your patience was not rewarded either by another spell you could play it off of World Kick or by ezbake getting the answer immediately. So very sad. He does get some refuel here. He can prep, swindle, miscreant, look for something that can do something, but that just hurts. It hurts your soul to see it, unless you hate Rogue, in which case you're excited.
Yes, true. And
yeah. I think Plantz may have had to take a second to walk away from his PC there, getting the top decked. Consume magic comes back and emotes, but I expect this to be probably prep, swindle, and go from there.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna see to start with. Maybe a miscreant depending on what the draw is. Secret passage and alright, and questing.
And questing will be good next turn when you have a couple lackeys to go with it. Backstab potentially. He might just have to play the lackeys now just to have present on the board. He's seen at least one Immolation Aura.
Seen two actually.
Oh yeah, that's right. He does.
And seen a Fellscream Blast.
So the Fellscream Blast is just the one in hand. I don't think one's been played yet.
No, you're right. Sorry. Yep. And Blade Dance also picked up there.
I think this is a potentially not a hugely threatening board, but it's one that ezbake wouldn't feel comfortable playing Polkel into just quite yet. As we saw in the first game, with Rogue can just all of a sudden turn out a whole lot of pressure. So this may not look like a whole lot yet, but still might be enough for ezbake to pause, but only for a second. So yeah, so he's basically setting himself up for. I think the one thing that he has going for him is even though he might not be able to skull next turn, depending on how much pressure Plantz is able to dish out here, because I definitely expect this question to come down now, especially with that Brain Freeze pickup. That allows us to get quite large quite quickly and really put the pressure on ezbake if he wants to skull. But ezbake does have the option of skull kind of getting close in the left side of his hand. So even if he's not able to play the one that he's drawing next turn, he at least has the option of getting a skull that discounts relatively quickly.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to see Backstab, Brain Freeze, Miscreant here. Or you could even, if you really want to go for it, go Secret Passage. Just to make maximum questing Adventurer.
Yeah, you wouldn't have the mana to Miscreant. I think the question is whether or not
you're right, my bad.
Secret Passage for... I mean, there's not a lot you're going to get for 1 or 2 mana. But it might still be worth it.
Well, do you Secret Passage here instead of Brain Freeze and just bump the 1/1 into the 4/1?
If you're going to do that, you need to have done it already, because the animation time on the Secret Passage, it looks like he's going to hold the Secret Passage and just dagger up. Which I don't mind, especially if this late in the game. That needed to have been maybe a quicker decision from Plantz, but I don't mind not Secret Passaging here. Unfortunately, your question is probably going to die here, but it does at least potentially prevent the skull from being played from ezbake. So you have that going for you. But I think this is going to be from ezbake's perspective a more Fellscream, and potentially Relentless Pursuit as well, just to set up the skull for next turn.
Yeah, I think Relentless Pursuit has to be played here.
Okay, so you're going to go with the Blade Dance play. Save the Works.
And I like that. Leaving the 1/1 up as a fell screen target, using the damage to go face instead, I think that's the right play here, because you know the rogue wants to continue to play things.
Yeah, so opening with the secret passage, probably looking for the other questing, just something to get something out on the board quickly here.
Finds
Does
the
pick up
Western.
the other questing.
Ooh, and a
And a
one.
one page. And another secret passage. So, yeah, this could end up
Plays
going
the
pretty well.
plays the one thief first.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Give me a quest.
So it's going to have one less, or 1/1 less than it would otherwise.
It still probably deters ezbake from questing. Potentially. So
Probably find a power here.
Power, yeah. Because you want to play it. I don't think secret passage is tempting, but I think it's just font. And maybe get like there's a couple 1-mana mage spells or mage minions. Jandis is almost definitely the choice here. It's the only one that's going to be viable at this stage in the game. So it does get to 5 HP, which is somewhat of a breakpoint. Because right now ezbake doesn't have a way of clearing it with what he's got in hand. Even both more, so he'd have to punch it with his face, which is not ideal.
Though. Warblade's drawn to hand. Oh, Warblade's plus Blade Dance. Yeah.
So
that's enough, I think. Yeah, because you Warblades, you Blade Dance, and then you Fell Scream.
So the Warblades would do 2, and then you punch it, and then you. Right. I don't think you want to Fell Scream though, because I think you're saving that for your damage here.
Picks up an eye. Picks up both eye beams. Well, yeah, that's a way to deal with it.
Probably saves him here, but I think it was very likely he was getting that outcome. Based on how Hulk outranged the deck and knowing how many 3-mana spells are left. So I think that was pretty well calculated by ezbake there.
So my excitement was a little misleading, of course, because we don't know what's in the deck. But yes, it is likely that there was nothing else that was 3 costs in the deck, other than second Warblades, I would imagine.
So, unfortunately for ezbake, that I-beam is not discounted. So next turn, right now he's looking at not a whole lot of damage from the Lanath combo. I think 12 would be the number. Let's see, 4, 6, 8, 9. So he used all his mana for that, and then the swing of the weapon would be another 4 damage. So he's getting close, and the rogue's not going to have any healing. So it really kind of is only a matter of time before ezbake's able to close this game out. I don't know, unless this Jandis is just massive for Plantz, if he's going to be able to put anything threatening in the way before ezbake's able to have the mana to close this game out. And that's really not what he was looking for. Faceless and Rush again. Probably not enough.
ezbake is going for it right here.
Yeah. Yeah, so one off, but I mean, realistically, the rogue's not gonna have enough to deal with this. Because even if he's able to clear this board, he can't heal himself. He doesn't have a taunt lackey in hand. So I mean,
and even if he did, Illidan could just attack it and kill you.
Yeah. So he's unfortunately trying to think of really not too many options here. You can play the cat first, see what he draws. This World Kickmaster, I don't know what combo cards you're really able to get. Maybe Faceless Lackey gives you something big for 2 mana, but so he's okay.
Oh, Eviscerate. Just gonna pour the damage in.
There's not enough damage available from that perspective. So I mean, it potentially could have. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would have liked maybe cat first, Faceless Lackey first, seeing if you got something that kind of made you able to clear the board. But I mean, realistically, that was a lost cause at that point.
So it's a bit of an anticlimactic end to the second series here, as it is a sweep for ezbake over Plantz. ezbake will advance to 2-0, and that will actually give Meme Dream Team the lead in this series, as Illidan's Death Knights they were up 4-1 to start tonight, but now it will be 5-4 in favor of Meme Dream Team. So we can maybe get ezbake in here for a little interview if he is available. So we'll go ahead and shoot him a message.
Good. Do a quick refresh on the standings, see if there are any other updates along the way.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't look like it.
ezbake said he is up for the interview, but needs a minute first, so we'll let him do that. And yeah,
Sure.
we'll take a look around while we're waiting.
We can just go back to stalling. What could be
You know,
better?
we've been doing it all night, so I mean, it's just a test of our abilities, which is which is fine. I did find it funny that Anfall redeemed "Is Edwin Hall of Fame yet?" in chat, and I just noticed it right as Edwin was played this game as a
And ezbake draws that can see magic. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yep.
So no Anfall, it is not Hall of Fame yet, and it does not seem to matter for ezbake at all because he handled it as gracefully as you could, given the situation there. But
it's situations like those that are the reason why Edwin's not Hall of Fame. So everyone can thank ezbake for delaying the Hall of Faming of Edwin. When you can handle that easily, I mean, what's the problem? What's the big deal?
Yeah, it is a card that has counterplay for sure, and metas where silence is involved, it is much less of a problem than metas where silence does not end up being involved that much. But yeah, for Demon Hunter, it just likes running Consume Magic a lot of time anyway, because you usually find a target for it and you'll get draw. So it's a worthwhile card to include in most of the decks outside of like the most aggressive Demon Hunter decks.
Right. Yeah, especially with how prevalent Rogue is as well. It's really just your best answer for dealing with Rogue's biggest threats, the Edwin and Questing Adventures.
Alright, ezbake said he is ready to go.
What's up, everyone?
Can you hear us? Hey, how's it going?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? I'm using some iPhone AirPods.
Yeah,
we can hear you just fine.
Awesome. How's it going, everyone?
Good, man. Congrats on your sweep there. Pretty big win for you guys.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
So, how good did that Consume Magic feel in the last game there? Right off the top.
I mean, that won me the game. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Like that's just pure lucky right there. But I did run two of them because I saw he had Rogue and Paladin, and I was like, that's really gonna save me because I've lost so many games to just early Edwin, early questing, or just a bunch of Librams. So I was like, you know what? I'm not running the weapon destruction as my tech. I'll just double up on the Consume Magic and see if it can pull a win, and it 100% did. So.
Well, definitely paid off there, and the OTA Demon Hunter, it's definitely a tricky deck. It doesn't have the greatest stats win rate wise on HS Replay, but I think it really comes down to how well the player knows the deck, and it's obvious that you know the deck very well. I've seen, you brought it in Pro, I think last week, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So you've obviously got reps in it.
I've brought it since the beginning of THL this season.
So what are your thoughts on it as a whole? Just as do you think that it's misrepresented?
I'm going to give you a hot take
right
off the bat. Hot take. I think it's the best deck in the game.
All right.
I think that people who have poor results with it, they need to put their reps in with it because it is really tricky. Like, for example, in that situation, I set him to 1 life, and it might look like a misplay. It's not. It's checkmate. He's a rogue. What can he do if I set him to 1? I know what my next draws are. I'm running Polk out. I can properly plan. You're playing chess. So you have to put your reps in with that deck in order to understand how good it is. That's why players like Frozen have done so well with it. I played Zay in, I think it was the Gaming Stadium tournament in top 8. He ended up beating me. Then he ended up taking Lifesteal Demon Hunter out on ladder and hitting like rank 40 or something with it at the end of the month. I was like, it's just like you said, it's a misrepresented deck because it's super powerful, but you have to know what those tech cards are. Like I said, the double consume this time versus your oozes. you have to know when to be aggressive and just switch up from the OTK to just beating them down.
Yeah, I like how you described it as chess, because a lot of times when people describe the deck, they describe it as solitaire, which is not exactly accurate, because you really have to think about what your opponent is doing as well. You can't just play your own cards and expect it to work out for you. I think chess is the correct analogy, because you have to think moves ahead and know what your opponent's going to do. And like you said, setting him to 1 was absolutely correct in that situation.
Yeah,
So,
I think decks like Cyclone Mage are more akin to games like Solitaire, because you're just trying to find your answer. So you're just playing. No, dude. Like, interesting, right? Back when Mana Cyclone came out, I was one of the first people playing that deck in top 8s at like for Master Tour qualifiers, stuff like that. Like, I'm a huge fan of Cyclone Mage back in the day. A little frustrated with how much RNG it is and how powerful it is, but I think it is more like Solitaire, and this is definitely more chess. And I think this is a lot like the Uther OTK that was back in Knights of the Frozen Throne. That deck was awesome, man.
Love that deck.
So speaking of Nate, sorry, yeah, didn't mean to interrupt you there. If you want to finish your thought.
No, go ahead. I'm just ranting about how good the deck is.
Well, when you win like that, you can.
Yeah. So, what did you think of the Elemental Mage deck that you ran into in the first 2 games?
About this.
Oh man, it was definitely surprising. It was. I thought he had me when I was playing the Bomb Warrior. I mean, I know like a third of his deck was bombs at that point, so any draw really could win me the game. But when he deep freezes and I'm like top deck after top deck, I'm like I probably lose this one. It's just my luck. But the boom saved me there a little bit. I think if I didn't get boom, like if I got pretty much any other card, like just say any random card there, I think I still win with the Galakron the next turn.
Yeah, the Galakron might have been enough because it breaks the freeze. You did have a little bit of burn in hand. I think in Arcane Missiles, that if you didn't have a minion or weren't able to clear the board, you might have been able to push enough damage through. But yeah, it was
actually exactly. Yeah, if I didn't have the boom there, he would have had Arcane Missiles, and it would have lethaled me, I think. So I would have had to draw something to contest a little bit. I mean, maybe Deathwing or something like that would have helped too. But
yeah,
I thought I lost it, to be honest.
The road game too seemed like he had things pretty well controlled, and then all of a sudden 2 questings come down, and that was that. But it is a deck that might do.
That was well. Weird. That matchup was weird for sure.
Yeah, deck that might do well against the rogues and warriors out there, except when the questings stick and when the bombs explode. So.
Yeah, no, I think that deck has potential for sure. It has the freezes for anyone running weapons. It has that fail-safe button as Zephyrus when it needs it, which is great, especially with the elemental allies. And I've been looking at that for a long time because that's a really good interaction between Zephyrus and elemental allies. And right now, we're at the pinnacle of cards, so you can probably make it work if you tweak it enough. But,
I don't know, definitely more cards are coming soon. Also, I think in another couple weeks.
It's got to be like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, make it even more interesting. So.
Yeah, I don't know if they gave us an exact date. I don't recall, but yeah, it's got to be sometime soon at this point.
Yeah, I was looking at the other day. I was like, man, I'm almost 50 on the quest or the rewards track or whatever, and I'm like, it's not even halfway through this expansion. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, luckily it's not as hard as people had predicted it to be.
To
get to this point. Yeah.
It's actually, it just goes real smooth if you play a little bit.
Yeah, a little every day, and you'll get to 50.
Yeah. I was talking to Plantz. He said the Paladin wasn't Libram Paladin or pure. It was Dragon Paladin.
Ooh.
Oh, interesting.
And he said he was upset that his warrior was banned because he said that was spicy too. But yeah.
Do you know that Plantz is like a warrior player generally?
No. My lineup just didn't look good into warrior. Honestly, I mean, armor gain doesn't do good against what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, no, Plantz likes his warrior, so that is. I thought that might have been a reason that you banned it, but yeah, we were talking about the warriors just have so many archetypes right now. It's hard to peg exactly what you're going into in a closed deck list situation. So yeah, I think that was a safe man.
Yeah, no, I think so. Especially like I've run into issues with the OTK Demon Hunter. I mean, you can get damage pretty high in that if the skull hits right, but it's a tough matchup with how much armor they get. The rogues, can be 50-50 with how you can scam out a win or, generate your win. But
right,
it just seemed better. A lot of people would say ban the rogue in that scenario. And it's like, I think rogue's beatable. I think people, they just remember how easily it is to get blown out by Edwin or questing. And they don't they don't think about all the other times where that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's very accurate for me. I can 100% confirm that's the way I think about Playbook.
Yeah, it's like Edwin on turn 3 every time.
Oh, look at that! It's at 10-10. Great, I can't handle that.
Yeah.
Yep, no, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
But
so I
I
figured.
give you to 12-12. Get right.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
12-12 is the special against me. That's right.
Yeah, Jesus. It's not bad. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't our match yesterday that was streamed.
I mean, personally, I'd have been okay with it, but yeah, I high rolled and top decked all over the place on you, and that was just not representative of the skill level for you in that match at all, because you're a much better player than what happened to you. So I do apologize for that.
I think it all worked in my favor because I got that consume magic. So
I told you yesterday, didn't I say that? I took all your bad luck away. I told you that yesterday.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what, you might be, because that was hard.
Well, I'm glad for you, because it does make me feel better to see that that the luck does swing the opposite way.
Sometimes you have matches like that, and it just ruins your day, because it's like it's the 1 in 20, it's the 1 in 12, whatever. After those matches, I was just like, you know what, this is just Hearthstone, whatever.
Right. And that's the right way to think about it. Yeah, it's going to happen. I'm sure it'll happen to me, at some point as well, the exact same way. So yeah, it's a good mindset to have, and definitely Hearthstone does that to you sometimes, where it just makes you not want to play, and pushing through that can be tough.
Yeah, man, definitely. I got this spicy hunter deck that I'm working on. I was trying it on ladder. It's like an OTK list with Icicles and Scarlet Web Weavers.
Ooh. I'm gonna be looking at your pro list now to see if I can if you ever happen to bring that.
Well, I tell you what, last season, because I've been working on this each expansion, and right now it's actually kind of working. But last season in Legacy, I brought Hunter like 3 or 4 weeks, and it got banned every single time. I didn't even get to play it. They just thought I was bringing Face or Highlander, so they just banned it. It's like, nah, dude, I'm playing something awesome that does like 42 damage with 6 ore.
Just let it happen.
Just let me get this off. It's cool.
That doesn't sound like something I want to play either. So.
Yeah, no, I can understand.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to say, either team-wise, opponent-wise, before you head out for the night?
I mean, don't judge Plantz on those games. I got really lucky on a couple top decks there. He's a good player. I wouldn't put him down based on the way he played. He played really well. And I mean, of course, the meme dream team lives on. And then in Pro League, we got Cirque du Soleil, which is hopefully going to do better next week. They had a kind of a rough week, but Ray pulled it through with a win at least.
Yeah, Ray's a pretty all right player.
Yeah, he's okay. He's all right. I'm surprised I was able to convince him to play this season.
He's played in THL before, I believe.
Yeah, I think he played like in the early seasons, like 1 through 5, somewhere in there. But he's always busy with whatever. So still, it's like, dude, can you like slot in? It's like he's like, yeah, man, why not? And I was like, awesome, sweet. We might win.
It's not like we have a competitive Hearthstone announcement yet for esports. So
yeah, fair enough.
I was gonna say, shout out to Racy, content creator of using his THL matches as content as well. Filming some really good YouTube videos out of those. I've definitely watched both and learned a lot. So definitely making the most of it as well.
Absolutely. If I wasn't playing on a MacBook Pro, I would totally be doing that too.
Well, ezbake, thanks for joining us here, and thanks for allowing us to stream your match as well. Congrats again to you and your team, and hopefully we'll see more of you this upcoming season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Anytime, man. Hope you have a great
night.
You later. Congrats. Good luck rest of the way.
All right, Icicles. 2 great matches. One ended a little more lopsided than the other, only a little bit more because we had a 3-0 and a 3-1, but it was still a good time. Hopefully, we get to do this again.
Absolutely, enjoyed it.
Yep. So thanks, Plantz, ezbake, Dmoney, and BrushyTuna all for allowing us to stream a match tonight. Please make sure to check out the stream tomorrow, as we will have school zone in the afternoon, and then we will have the BG finals coming up tomorrow night, 9 p.m. So tune into that if you are a fan of BGs or just a fan of THL in general. That is an exciting time here, as it's our first BG season. Our test season here, and hopefully only better seasons to come. So looking forward to seeing more of that, and we will be back next week, of course, on Salty Saturday here. If you would like to be on stream, let us know, and that goes for any day of the week. Just feel free to send a message to myself, Saku, or really anyone else in content, and we'll get you going. So thanks for being here tonight. Icicles, thanks for co-casting with me as well.
Sir.
And we will catch you all next week. So have a great night, everybody.
Good night.